Let me just show the galley as it is today. First of all, I have a little infill board which doubles as an ironing board. Then the marble slab and the gas cooker put in recently, not connected because I've got another project online. And to the right, the toaster and the hot plate, which I actually use. And above, storage boxes, very useful. Plenty of storage all round, net for bread and stuff, more storage, and spice rack, tap, and glasses, and what I call a false wall, which is also more storage. So not short of storage space. Back to the toaster, the cooking plate, the gas cooker, future gas cooker when it's connected up. And down below I have a little electric oven which I take out of there to use it sometimes. And lower down I have the gas cooker which also comes out, a camping one that's absolutely excellent. And more spare pots, spare storage. To the right is a dustbin. And below that's a giant sized pan which takes large fish. And my little mini fridge, and above it the storage drawers. So there we have the galley as it is today, but it was not always like this. Once upon a time the boat here had been restored a bit and it had quite a good galley by the look of the old photo. Then by the time I bought the boat, some hippies or somebody had been on the boat. They had sold off most of the equipment of the boat and there was really no galley. There was just a little stainless steel cooker thing the seller had bought and stuck on top of the workplace, and he'd bought a gas bottle and stuck it on the floor, which is a complete load of nonsense. So I had to begin to working on some sort of improvement, and the galley went through various stages. At one time I had this wonderful cook pot, Princess it was made by. That was a wonderful thing, and it lasted for 8 months. After 8 months it stopped working, so I took it back to the shop and they gave me another one, and that lasted for 8 months. But that's pretty much typical with any little electrical appliances you buy on the boat. They work for a while, and then, for example, my kettle, I can't lift the lid, and the toaster, pop-up toaster, does not pop up any longer. It was about 2 months after I bought it, it stopped working, so I have to use it like manually, and so it is with many things. Now, I'm not afraid to try out new ideas, and I like inventing things. So I think a galley, you really need quite a bit of storage, and most British boats, they have just like a sink, and they have a full-size cooker, but they have no workspace. And storage, very important thing. So one of my bright ideas was to build what I call a false wall between the galley area and the saloon, and on the inside of that wall I made storage racks, the correct size to hold cans of soup, tins of beans, that kind of stuff. Well, first of all, to see if it was a good idea or would work out okay, I made it in cardboard, and then that seemed quite good, so I went ahead, made it in plywood, and that turned out to be one of my more successful ideas. Kitchen drawers, there were none, but I found in the street a set of office drawers with nice mahogany looking fronts, so they very quickly became my kitchen drawers. Then one day, coming back to the yacht, I found someone had thrown out an old Vanessa gas cooker. Now that is probably the kind of cooker the boat would have had. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it had been the actual cooker from the boat itself, which somebody had sold on. Anyway, I thought, well, I'll pick this up, and carried it back to the boat, and I'll have a go at installing it. And there was a set of gimbals included in the throwout. So I built a stand, the correct width for the cooker. There isn't really much space in the galley to fit a wide modern cooker, so the old British one fitted perfectly in the slot, and I managed to make it in such a way that it was gimbaled and so forth. And the thing is, the oven didn't reach its operating temperature, the grill was too many holes and throwing out too much gas. Well, the two rings worked, but at the end of the day it really looked a bit of an eyesore, so I decided to throw it away and have a go at putting in something a bit more modern. Now, I always fancied to have a marble slab worktop in the galley, and one day walking in the street I found this giant sized piece of ceramic tile 10 millimeters thick. In fact, there were two of them and they were pretty heavy, so I went back to the yacht and I got a trolley, went back to where I'd found this material thrown out for some new installation of a shop or something, and carried one back to the boat. Then I looked up on YouTube on how to cut the ceramic tile and found you could do it with an angle grinder, that's the word. So I bought a special ceramic disc for it, and I saw on YouTube how to cut out the semicircular type of curve. So I cutted that out and fitted in its space, and that was a big success. But the weight of it was so much that I didn't go back for the other one, and I thought for the other part, well, I would gradually make it in a piece of lighter plywood and cover it in marble looking paint, and that's what happened. Fake marble top. This is the first attempt, actually the underside of the piece of plywood, just to see how to do it really. Learn as you go along. Bit too grey, but as I say, it's the underside. Next move is the proper side. Now mostly I just use the electric hot plate cooking on the boat in the marina, supplemented with the portable camping gas cooker, which is great. But it would be nice to have a proper gas cooker. There isn't really space for the oven, but even the gas rings on top would be good. Now the thing is, with the recent cost of gas going pretty much double, and particularly electricity, which has gone double and is even more expensive here in the marina, for a long time I've been thinking, where could I install a gas bottle on the yacht? Originally the bottle was stored right in a lazarette in the transom, but I took it away and cut it away and used the space below, because the pipe itself had been cut off in the galley in such a way that it could not be easily replaced. So I spent a long time, in fact years, doing different study drawings, looking for places in the boat where I could put a gas bottle. I did have a little one, the small 3 kilogram one on the outside, strapped to the outside of the casing of the cabin, which I used when I installed the thrown away cooker. But the thing is, if you bought in Spain the small camping gas cylinder, which I think is 3 kilograms, it would cost you about 23 euros, say. And if you bought the next size up, which is more intended for household appliances, that's about 6 kilograms, that could also cost you 23 euros. And if you bought the next size up, which is what everybody uses in their homes, it's subsidized by the Spanish government and it's 13 kilograms, and that would also cost, say, 23 euros. So if you have a yacht and you have a space to get the very large bottle in the boat, that would be really great. So I decided that the only place where the large bottle in particular would fit in was in the galley itself, shortest distance to the cooker and just behind the cooker, but it meant cutting an opening in the worktop and also cutting an opening in the deck above for the glass bottle to drop through, and then build a support at the base, and then I had to build a box round about the actual bottle, and that box had to be fiberglassed in, so the whole thing would be gas tight, as you call it, and the drain for the gas would go out over the side of the boat. Well, that sounded great in theory, but at the same time I also installed a gas fire, a catalytic gas fire I had, and then I went and bought all the very expensive fittings to do it all in copper pipe, and the fittings would allow to go through the wall of the gas locker as it's supposed to be. Well, that may sound great, but in practice it worked out to be a disaster. There were just simply far too many joins in the whole route. And the gas cooker itself, this French cooker, had on the back a kind of terminal where you had to, a threaded nut, you had to thread some pipe onto it and all that kind of stuff. So too many joints, and looking backwards, I think it would have been much better. First of all, the bottle was really in the wrong place, and secondly, I prefer the old-fashioned way where you just have the bottle, a gas rubber pipe which goes onto the bottle, and the other end is connected directly onto the gas cooker, as it would have been with the old Vanessa cooker. So in the end of the day, when I came to try it out, the thing started leaking gas, and that terrified me to death. And so it was goodbye to the whole big bottle installation. I ripped out the bottle and dumped it, and I cut out all the woodwork I had built. And then I did a bit more fake marble in the corner to make it look back nice again, and the opening on the deck, I shall cut that out as well and make it back into a normal step. So that's how it got to where it is today. Now I could connect the new gas top to the 3 kilogram bottle which I have sitting in the box outside the boat. But before that, I'm going to move on to another project, and that will be trying to cook from solar power. And that will be the story of my next video.